Hey everybody, Norm from Tested here at New York Comic-Con. Now this is the booth of X Plus, and Jeremy here from X Plus. I'm been a big follower, admirer of the work that X Plus has put out over the years. You guys do amazing, of course, the Godzilla characters, a line of creatures, but for people who may not know, give us a little bit of a history of the X Plus world and why these are so sought after from fans of Godzilla.
Right, so X Plus actually started in 1998 by our general manager, Jason. At that time, the American version of Godzilla was being released, so they started getting into toys. They were a clothes manufacturing company.
Oh.
From there, they started releasing figures of Kaiju consistently since 1998. The reason people love these things so much is because they almost look like they walk out of the television screen. And I mean that in the fact that we take so much time to look at the details of the figures to the suit. So for example, the Mechagodzilla over there, you'll actually see the creases where the original suit would have been a little bit folded up because of the material that they used.
Yes, it's the attention to detail and also that paint finish, I think, people love. And everyone has their favorite era of Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many different versions that get put out. How do the sculptors there figure out the poses or choose what is, in their mind, the perfect representation of 68 Godzilla or something?
Oh yeah, so they will look at the films themselves and look to see what some little bit of a dynamic pose might be, and what's easier to convert into vinyl too, because that has to be taken into consideration. For example, Ghidorah, he's a very large figure, so we got to think of like center of gravity for those types of vinyl figures too. So there can be a challenge in that, which it kind of drives creativity in the way that they create the sculpts.
And they're all within scale to each other. There are different actual scales that you put out. This is not representative of the most common problem. This is a really big one from the most recent Godzilla film. Is it 25 centimeter? That's the most popular line, is that right?
I would say it really depends on what type of collector you are, because there are some people that only do 25 centimeter lines. There are people that do gigantic series. For people that are really trying to save space, they might gravitate more towards the Defo real figures. But generally, I see people collecting a lot of 30 centimeter figures.
30 centimeter.
Right. Suppose you live in Japan, you might not want something as big as the gigantic or the 30 centimeter scale. So 25 is like that perfect niche market that you can get a lot of space for the figure that you buy.
And it's a regular cadence of release. People are highly anticipating them as they see the pictures come out of Japan. I've seen videos of people on YouTube, and you also with shelves and shelves of these 30 centimeter Godzillas in the back, right? It's a big point of pride. It's a mass collection.
Right, so there's a group on Facebook called the X Plus Collectors Group, and that we're all very much, I guess you would say, addicted to the figures. People go crazy. Once you get one, it's almost like you can't stop.
Yeah.
So people do have a high sense of pride in their collection, and I think a lot of it too, you normally don't see something as detailed as this for the price range, plus just in general, like when people come over to my house, it's a conversation piece. I like to show people my collection. Even if they're not Godzilla fans, it's fun to see them be wowed by it, because it's something that you probably commonly wouldn't see collected, for example.
Well, in addition to that total license, you also have licenses for all other sorts of pop culture movies and TV shows. Of course, with the Star Ace family line, you have 6 scale figures. I also noticed you guys did something with Star Wars last year. You guys did the chess pieces, the chess pieces. Is that through you as X Plus as well?
Right, so we did have some of the Star Wars chess pieces. I think during that time, Disney went back and took away the licensing because of the timing. So they never actually were released completely.
Not the full line.
Unfortunately not.
So a little bit of a rare find.
Right, but all of the figures that are non-Toho related or Legendary Studios related go through the Star Ace branding, which is a subsidiary of X Plus.
So that's why you got things like, you got Harry Potter, this Batman stuff, 2001 Space Odyssey, that's really cool.
Right, which kind of brings back a lot of nostalgia for me as a kid, because you don't see a lot of those types of figures being produced. So Leo over at Star Ace was talking to me yesterday, and he said, it's kind of fun because some of the things that we're trying to get licensed for and produce might not be as popular to most major companies, so it's fun to kind of get something that's introduced that you normally wouldn't see.
Yeah, and of course it all has a hallmark attention to detail in the sculpt. When people think of vinyl and designer vinyl, they don't often think about like realistic looking characters, but you guys do it so well. It looks like crusted skin of a giant kaiju, which is super cool. What can people look forward to coming up next from X Plus?
Oh man, so highly anticipated is the Mecha Godzilla Gigantic series. We also came out with the Real Monster Collection, which is this Yuji Sakai figure. It's going to be based in resin opposed to vinyl. People really love that one because it looks like it literally is from the poster of Godzilla Final War. So people are pretty excited about that. We've got some Kong figures that we showed today for the first time. With the anticipation of Godzilla versus Kong, there's going to be more figures being released during that time period as well that I can't say right now, but they're going to be pretty epic to say the least.
Well, it's awesome to see them in person, and for those of you out there who might not know about X Plus, I'm telling you, it's amazing, but also it's a dangerous hobby to dive into for your wallet.
To add to that point, people that might not have a lot of money to spend, the Defo Real line is a good compromise for that because they're small, they're highly detailed, like the 2000 or the 1999 Godzilla with the Orga set. You get the same amount of quality, but in a little compact, cute chibi form. So people really tend to love that, especially on social media. Those pictures and those releases usually get my highest amount of impressions and comments, actually.
It's a great entry point into a new obsession. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for letting us know a little bit more about this.
Appreciate it.
And great to meet you.